Hello, Dork Squad. I'm Jonathan Cormur, and you're listening to Dorktales Storytime, the podcast for kids and their pop culture-loving grown-ups. And this is an inspiring story about a hidden hero of history.
It's a beautiful day for a story, adventure and glory, new friends and old ones too. It's an excellent day to get swept away in a tale, so let us regale you.
What an excellent show! Another rousing performance by Olivia Crescendo, the singing otter. Agreed, and fantastic choreography by Bob Gossie the Goose, don't you think? Oh yes, it was so bold. I've never witnessed such a masterful use of flatball changes in my life. Jonathan, I must be honest with you. What's up, Reg? I think I've been bitten by the theater bug. Reg, you run almost every performance troupe in the Folktale Forest. I think you were bitten by that bug long ago. No, I mean that little bug over there just bit me on the paw, and now it itches like the dickens. But now that you mention it, perhaps a new venture for the stage is calling to me. Well, it says here in the program that they're holding auditions for the show Lamilton this week. The musical about the founders of Once Upon a Timeland? I would be perfect for it, but I'm not sure. This is a much bigger stage than I've ever performed on before. What if I freeze up and forget all my lines? But what if you don't? The theater is a magical place, Reg. Every live performance is a unique experience. You never know what'll happen. Isn't that beautiful? Hey, wait a minute. That's what I said to you about the theater before we sat down. Oh, well, just making sure you remembered. Well, you know how much I adore the theater and being on stage, but auditioning for a show at Latropia's Gotta Dance Theater, that would be a brand new experience indeed. You know, when I'm feeling nervous about doing something new, I like to think about the brave people throughout history who have done that very same thing before me. Is it that time again, dear old friend? I think it might be. Another story about a hidden hero of history. And this hero is a man named Moss Hart. Why did the curtains rise up and that spotlight turn on? Isn't the show over? That is strange. Oh, and look, there's a little boy walking across the stage in an old-fashioned costume.
Hello, I'm Moss Hart, and I'm here to tell you my story.
Moss Hart? Isn't that the hero you just mentioned? Yeah, it is. Is this a play about Moss Hart? Just for us? Look! The set is wheeling in. Yeah, that looks like the tenement building where Moss grew up, located in the Bronx in New York City. He was born in 1904, and that boy on stage looks like he's about 7. That means the year in this play is...
The year is 1911.
1911. The theater really is a magical place, especially when you're in Once Upon a Timeland.
Hurry up, Moss, or we'll be late for the matinee at 2.
That's Moss's Aunt Kate. She loved going to the theater, and she'd occasionally take Moss with her. She passed her love for theater on to Moss.
Coming, Aunt Kate!
Look, Jonathan, the set is changing. Yes, it looks like Times Square. I think this is Moss's first time going there. He must be 14 now. Moss looks amazed.
This is Broadway and 42nd Street. I may live in New York City, but for a Bronx boy like me, seeing Times Square and the lights of Broadway has only ever been a dream. And now it's happening. There's so much joy all around me. People are laughing and throwing confetti out of their windows. Over there, Soldiers and sailors are dancing on top of a taxi cab. Is this what Times Square is always like? Hey, mister, why is everyone so happy? Haven't you heard the news, kid? The war's over.
Oh, that's right! Moss Hart's first time going to Times Square happened to be the day World War I, a very big and terrible war that took place between many nations, had finally ended. It was a new day in the United States of America. There was a sense of hope everywhere. It sparked a little sense of hope in Moss's heart as well.
I dream that one day I'll open a show on Broadway.
I think he's going to do it, Jonathan. I can sense it. You may be right.
But first, things get harder.
Oh, no, Mr. Hart. How do they get harder? Well, the year after seeing Times Square for the first time, Moss had to drop out of school. Oh, dear. But why? Well, to take care of his parents and younger brother. His family never had much money. His dad was trained to make cigars, but was suddenly out of work when a machine that rolled cigars was invented. Oh, how unfortunate. So what did Moss do? Well, he started working different jobs.
Not in the theater.
By the time he turned 17, he finally finds a job
In the theater.
He did it! He made his dreams come true! He immediately became a famous writer/director/actor. Not exactly. He's an office boy for the theater producer Augustus P2. Oh, bless you. Oh, no, his last name is P2. Bless you again. Do you need a tissue? No, thank you. But look on the stage. A 17-year-old Moss is in the office. What's in his hand?
Psst, check this out. I've written a script called The Beloved Bandit. My plan? I'm going to sneak it into my boss's desk. The old boss thinks I'm too young and don't have enough quote-unquote theatrical experience, so I've written it under another name, or a noms de plume, as the French say. Cross your fingers that he reads it in the morning and maybe, just maybe, decides to put it up on stage. Can you imagine?
I can imagine. How thrilling. Tell me, Jonathan, does his plan work? It does. Hurrah!
Guess what, folks? My boss read the script, loved it, and without knowing that I wrote it, he decided to put it on stage. Right here in New York City. Can you believe it?
Amazing! So that's when Moss becomes a famous writer/director/actor. Well, no. The Beloved Bandit was a huge flop, and his boss loses $45,000. That's almost $800,000 in today's money. $800,000? Do you know how many hedgehog-sized top hats and monocles I could buy with that kind of money? I'm guessing a lot. You guessed right. Well, it is a lot of money. His boss eventually found out Moss wrote the play, and he was fired from that job. Oh, my word. See, things can go terribly wrong in theater. It's not worth it. Jonathan, I quit. But you're a star, Reg. Oh, wait, the set is moving again. Now he's sitting at a desk in front of the typewriter. Just because he had one failure doesn't mean he gave up on theater entirely. So he got back up and tried again. He kept writing.
Once in a Lifetime by Moss Hart. There.
Is that the name of the play? It is, but he didn't write this one by himself. How do you mean? There was another big-time producer who was interested in bringing this new play to Broadway. He insisted that another playwright named George S. Kaufman work on the script too. Is that the other man who's joining him at the desk?
Hello.
I believe so. Now it looks like the set is going back to Times Square. Oh, yes, it does.
That's because after 6 months of writing, Once in a Lifetime has had its Broadway premiere.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Kaufman Kaufman and Hart are the new Broadway royalty. Once in a lifetime is the show of a lifetime. That newspaper boy says it's a success. Hurrah for Kaufman and Hart. You see, Reg, anything can happen in the theater, and working with someone else on your dreams makes it a little easier. This Broadway production would lead to a 10-year theatrical partnership between Moss Hart and George S. Kaufman.
We went on to write many shows together, including Merrily We Roll Along, The Man Who Came to Dinner, and You Can't Take It With You.
They won the Pulitzer Prize for that last one. That's a fancy schmancy award given to writers. Probably the fanciest schmanciest. But even after winning one of the most acclaimed awards out there, Moss kept going. But he'd already done so much. He was relentless when it came to his artistic pursuits. He'd write with other celebrated creatives like Irving Berlin. He directed the very famous musicals My Fair Lady and Camelot. And then he'd move from the stage
to the screen.
Yes, exactly what Moss on Stage said. He'd write the screenplays for many movies, including A Star is Born, starring Judy Garland, the woman famous for another classic film, The Wizard of Oz. So you're saying if I audition for Lamilton, I'll become the next level theater star, and then I'll become a movie star? Well, anything is possible, but I don't know that it'll happen all that quickly. It takes a lot of hard work, patience, and courage. Well, I've got courage, and I can definitely work hard. Patience, that I might have to work on. But I suppose Latropia wasn't built in a day. So, what's next? We all know by now that Mr. Hart didn't stop at movies.
I took all my stories from my life, my childhood in the Bronx, my Aunt Kate, my first play with the producer, Augustus P2.
Bless you.
Thank you. And I wrote an autobiography called Act 1.
An autobiography is a book a person writes about their own life. The book was a huge hit, and to this day, it is one of the most widely read autobiographies by a person in the theater. Incredible! So, I'm going to follow the footsteps of Mr. Hart and become an actor, a director, a playwright, a screenwriter, and then I'll write a book about all of it. The world will know my name. If Moss Hart did it, you can too. Oh, it looks like the actors are getting ready to take their bows.
Bravo!
Well done! Encore! How lucky are we to see 2 shows in one night? Very lucky. But how did the second show even happen? And who are these people performing? Oh, well, clearly it's the power of stories, combined with the bustling city magic of Latropia, with the, well, you see, it was a chain of events that you have no idea, do you? Not a clue. But, like we've said, the theater is a magical place, and anything is possible. Oh, there's truly no business like show business. Hear, hear. So, what do you say? Will you audition for Lamilton? Absolutely. I'm going to start practicing my William Shakespeare monologue now.
All the world's a stage, and all the hedgehogs merely players.
You're sounding great already. Time to head home, Reg. You can rehearse on the way. Oh, yes, quite. Off we go.
They have their exits and their entrances, and one hedgehog in his time plays many parts.
Dorktales Hidden Heroes of History is a John and Character production. This story was written by Rebecca Cunningham and edited and produced by Molly Murphy. Special shout out to Rebecca Cunningham for voicing Aunt Kate. All other characters are performed by Jonathan Cormur. Sound recording and production by Jermaine Hamilton and Hamilton Studio Recordings. Reach out to us on Instagram or email us at dorktalestorytime@gmail.com. Find links in the show notes or go to dorktalestorytime.com. Now, go be the hero of your own story, and we'll see you next Once Upon a Time.
So gather